Preservatives with Paul Rosen.
Our diets, our Western diets in America are just really, you just don't realize how poor they really are.
What would you say to others who would like to feel better?
Sometimes you need to find the instruction. That's where the testing and everything comes in, because without that knowledge, there's no way I could have got to the point where I'm at today.
Straight talk about health.
And then I start preaching and telling them what I've been doing. And this guy named Paul Rosen has changed my life.
With your host, Paul Rosen.
By the way, the information contained in this program is not approved by the FDA, nor intended to treat, diagnose, or claim to cure any medical condition or disease as defined by Western medicine. However, skilled practitioners of many disciplines have found nutrition response testing to be a highly reliable supportive technology for assessing the health and fitness of the body's functional system.
If you're of a certain age, you may remember this kid on television. He was a cute kid holding a fishing pole, and he was singing this song.
My bologna has a first name. It's O-S-C-A-R. My bologna has a second name. It's M-A-Y-E-R.
Okay, Paul, ready to do some myth busting?
Why not?
The myth, lunch meats are good for you, well, they are not actually, or they may not be.
Gee, it's surprising that marketing might mislead. Come on!
Especially that kid. I mean, he'd be, I mean, that's a 1973 commercial, so he'd probably be about 50 years old now, maybe in seclusion once we figured out that he was misleading us.
Well, what about Tony the Tiger?
Allison Heath, an online advisor on health and nutrition, says the problems with lunch meats begin with the packaging.
They use glue now to make this meat, pack it all together and so on. And that glue, the ingredients in that glue, contain products that if you have any gluten sensitivity, and 85% of the population does, that's going to cause a problem.
That's just one thing, Paul. For example, they use this glue, as she said there, but it's also like a mold. In order to make your lunch meat look good in the package, they actually have like this thing they place it in, and it comes out of there shaped like Jell-O, or the way you would shape Jell-O, so that it looks attractive there in the package on the grocery shelf.
Well, the other thing about these processed meats is, you know, they generally include things like hot dogs, deli meats, bacon, pepperoni. Oh my gosh, these are so delicious things. But you can find some of these things in that are uncured, which is really important, uncured. And also it's important to be sure that there's no sugar in any of it, which is almost impossible to find. Although hot dogs from Applegate, catch that? Applegate. If you're, you know, a hot dog or sort of sausage oriented, these do work. And I happen to like hot dogs myself. I don't eat a ton of them, but I do occasionally imbibe, as they say.
So the thing is, lunch meats quite possibly have things in them that are unhealthy. Is that right?
Oh, my gosh. Well, first of all, they always include, unless otherwise stated on the package, they always include chemical preservatives. Mm-hmm. Things like heterocyclic amines. And if you don't understand what I'm saying when I use these words, then you shouldn't be eating any of these processed meats if you don't know what they are.
Well, I don't know what that is.
It's a potent carcinogen.
Yikes.
Which is created when meat or fish are cooked at high temperatures. So that's one. Most of these products are often, pasteurized, cooked at high temperatures. Sodium nitrite, which is a commonly used preservative, an antimicrobial agent that also adds color and flavor to processed and cured meats. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Many processed meats are smoked as part of the curing process, which causes these PAHs to form. And finally, the advanced glycation end products. My gosh, I'm sounding like a chemical,
like a chemist,
chemical encyclopedia. When food is cooked at high temperatures, including when it is pasteurized or sterilized, it increases the formation of AGEs in your food. These build up over time in your body and create oxidative stress, inflammation, and increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, and kidney disease. And I don't know about you, but those things don't really appeal to me.
So what are some of the alternatives to lunch meat?
Buy yourself an organic grass-fed turkey or free-range turkey or some organic meats. and so on, and make a roast. And then slice it very, very thin and use that as your luncheon meat, because you're actually going to know that you're getting one species only. You're not getting all of these additives, which are such carcinogens.
Again, that's Allison Heath. She's the online health and nutrition advisor. Paul, your thoughts on that suggestion?
I agree with her 100%. I mean, what she's saying is, buy a piece of fresh meat, preferably, in my view, pastured. Not just organic, but pastured is the best. Organic is next. Make sure that there are the meats are not raised with antibiotics, or that there are no preservatives used in them, no taste enhancers, no colorizers, et cetera, et cetera. And then do make a fresh piece of meat, and you got yourself something. You can always spice it up nicely. If you want the taste, I happen to like the spices that are often put in sausages and, pepperoni and that thing. You can get, like I said, Applegate, the Applegate hot dog product. Not all of their products are sugar-free, but they can't contain sugars or sweeteners. If they do, it's big trouble. And bacon, one of my favorite foods, the only bacon that can really stand up to the scrutiny of factors that I'm talking about has to be salt cured.
Well, not liking bacon is un-American, so should we be looking for that salt cured bacon?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, definitely. Now, you gave us a whole list of things we should be looking for on lunch meats, Paul, which are not good for us. NBC food editor Phil Lembert says there are specific ingredients you should look for on packages of lunch meat.
Number one, water.
Yes.
Keep in mind that a lot of these products have water added. They have nitrites. And again, a lot of controversy about nitrites because when they're cooked, they can actually become cancer producing. We've seen that in studies in Sweden and certainly in animal studies here.
And according to Phil Lembert, the water content in lunch meat is unusually high.
For example, a lot of products might have 10, 12% water added. That means for every pound of meat, or every 10 pounds of meat that you're buying a pound of water. And water is certainly a lot cheaper than ham or bologna or any of the other products.
It almost sounds, Paul, like they're fattening up the lunch meats with water.
It is. It's totally true. That's exactly what they're doing. It's like putting your thumb on the scale when you're weighing out whatever it is a person is buying. Just get a little extra bit of pennies from you. But the bottom line is no processed meat really is, that useful for you when it comes to maintaining and or definitely restoring your health. I mean, none. But, every once in a while I do hanker for a hot dog, and like I said, the Applegate product does fit the bill. It's uncured, it's organic. I don't mind eating the innards, the connective tissue, or the organ meats if they're thrown in there. They're actually extremely healthy for you. But you have to be careful with any of these lunch meat, and that includes bacon. I'm sorry, folks. As much as I love it, and I know you do too, you've got to, if it's cured with sugar, and you're not doing well, you have an ongoing issue. It's absolutely totally clear that you cannot be consuming concentrated sweeteners, including sugar. I've never been able to help anybody who continues to do that.
Here's some dramatic news. This from the London Globe and Mail. They say a 12-year European study of nearly 500,000 men and women linked a steady diet of processed meats to premature death. People who ate more than 160 grams of processed meat each day versus less than 20 grams were 44% more likely to die early, in particular from cardiovascular disease, but also from cancer. And 160 grams of processed meat is equivalent to 2 large Italian sausages or 3 slices of deli ham. So, boy, that sounds serious to me, Paul. They're actually saying that if you eat too much of this stuff on a daily basis, over time, it could lead to an early death.
Well, there are studies out there that do show that eating processed meats increases your risk of colon cancer by 50%, bladder cancer by 59%, stomach cancer by 38%, and pancreatic cancer by 67%, and other studies that show that it also increases the potential for diabetes. Now, remember, all of this is genetically sensitive. That is, if you look back in your family history and you show any sign of cancer whatsoever, that's not necessary. But if you see it there, if you see a history of diabetes and you're eating processed meats, why should we pay for your insurance bill?
Yeah, that's a bad thing. Also, Phil Lembert, the NBC food editor, he mentioned nitrates in lunch meats a few minutes ago. And just what are nitrates?
Now,
and that's a common additive, right? Nitrates,
Very common.
especially for processed meats.
And
it helps preserve them.
Exactly. It really avoids botulism, and also nitrates actually add a red color to it. So it's being really used for two reasons. But a lot of nutritionists suggest that you take vitamins, vitamin C and vitamin E, before you have the cold cuts, and that way you don't have as much of a problem.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
What do you think of that, Paul? Taking vitamin C before you have your bologna sandwich.
That's to me it's like diving off the 30th floor of a building and saying to yourself, "So far, so good."
So maybe
so good so
the better
far.
thing to do is maybe just avoid the lunch meat to begin with.
Well, yeah, I think that's definitely my message, and I think that would be the message that anybody who really wants to be healthy, just like Colleen was talking about, she wants to be healthy. And she's although she is absolutely a spring chicken, her body is not spring chicken old.
No,
right?
not at all.
And so, she's doing fabulously, and we're going to hear more from her.
We are. And also, I want to bring this thing full circle back to this.
My bologna has a first name. It's O-S-C-A-R. My bologna has a second name. It's M-A-Y-E-R.
That's that kid who appeared in that commercial, Oscar Mayer commercial promoting lunch meats back in 1973. Well, his name, Paul, is Andy Lambros, and apparently he cut down on his own consumption of lunch meats because he's still alive and healthy today. He is a multimedia graphic artist and designer and musician, has done very well for himself. So for those who are wondering, the cute Oscar Mayer kid lives on and prospers.
I wonder if he still eats processed meat. Do you know that?
I don't know.
Do you know that
I don't
fact?
know that.
Where's your reporting?
Well, he made it to, he was probably, 7 or 8 years old in that commercial, so he's close to 50 now. And he's made it that far, apparently is thriving professionally, so he must have something going on. I don't know if that's because of or in spite of lunch meats.
What we want to know is the quality of his life. That's what I want you to find out, if you would.
Well, I'm sure
what
he's
is the
doing
quality
well. I'm
of
sure
his
he's
life?
doing outstanding. I just have a feeling. So the thing is, avoid lunch meats if you can, with some exceptions. You mentioned a few, which were?
Well, you want to find meats that, if you're going to eat a meat, you want to make sure it doesn't have sugar. You want to make sure that it doesn't have preservatives like nitrites or taste enhancers or colorizers of any sort. You want to make sure that that it's one species, like beef or like chicken or pork, not multiple species in one shot. And of course, it's probably better that it's not pre-cooked. Because that's also going to create, as I said, some potential carcinogenic constituents in the food. So that's important. And if you want to just skip the whole thing, well, you're not going to see me complain.
Yeah, and also be advised too, when you buy that lunch meat, it may not be all meat. There's a lot of water in there.
When an individual begins to lose their health, it's something, or if you've lost it, you know what I'm saying here. Basically, it's the one thing that nobody can afford to lose, and it's also taken from us one bite at a time.
Here's something for nothing. Just go to AccuNatural.com anytime. Right now would be good. ACUNatural.com. That's Paul Rosen's home on the web for AccuNatural Family Health Care. At the site, a pop-up window will appear. Fill in your name and your email address, and you get a free chapter from Paul's book, The Missing Piece. Your information will be shared with no one else. Plus, there are always excellent health and wellness facts and figures and podcast editions of Health Matters. Something for nothing at AccuNatural.com. ACUNatural.com.